few years ago, when my wife and I moved to a small town in northern Pennsylvania. I'd just gotten a new job at a machine shop, and we were excited, but also nervous about starting over somewhere that wasn't familiar. We'd been on the road almost 9 hours that day, our SUV packed with boxes and the few pieces of furniture we didn't trust movers with. It was late summer, hot, the air heavy in that sticky way that makes your shirt cling to you. We left the interstate a little after dusk, taking smaller and smaller roads toward the town, where our new house was waiting. The GPS said we had about 40 minutes to go. Trees lined the road, their branches hanging low, and the further we drove, the less traffic there was. At some point, I realized we hadn't seen another car in almost 20 minutes. That's when my wife, Erin, noticed him. A boy. He was walking barefoot along the shoulder of the road, one hand brushing the guardrail, the other hanging at his side. His head was down, hair hanging forward, like he'd been walking for miles. He couldn't have been older than 8 or 9. We slowed down without even talking about it. Erin said, "God, what's he doing out here?" And before I could respond, she added, "We should stop." I pulled over, rolling the window down. The kid looked up, his eyes catching the headlights for a moment. His face was pale, not ghostly pale, just like he hadn't seen much sun. He had this expression, blank, but not scared. Calm, if that makes sense. "Hey, you okay?" I asked. "You need a ride somewhere?" The boy didn't answer right away. He walked closer to the car, his bare feet crunching gravel. Erin leaned forward from the passenger seat and asked softly, "Where's your mom or dad?" That's when the boy smiled, small, polite, and he said, "Can I get in?" Erin looked at me, eyebrows raised, and I just nodded. I unlocked the back door. The boy slid inside without hesitation, sitting directly behind me. Erin twisted around to face him. "What's your name, honey?" she asked. He looked at both of us for a moment before answering. "You're Erin," he said. His voice was soft, but there was no hesitation, no guesswork, like he knew our names. Then he turned his eyes to me in the rearview mirror. "And you're Mark?" My grip on the steering wheel tightened. I laughed nervously, trying to cover the chill that ran down my spine. "Lucky guess," I said. But Erin didn't laugh. She frowned. "Wait, how do you know our names?" The boy tilted his head, like the question puzzled him. "Because I was there," he said. "There where?" I asked. "At your house." My eyes flicked to Erin's. She gave me a look, half confused, half uneasy. "What do you mean, our house?" she asked him. The boy smiled. "The one you just bought. The one with the tree in the front yard. And the fence you said you'll fix." I felt my stomach drop. Erin and I had closed on the place just 2 weeks earlier. We'd only seen it twice. And the fence, yeah, I had said exactly that I'd fix it once we got settled. But we hadn't told anyone else. How do you know that?" Erin's voice was tight now. The boy looked down at his hands resting in his lap. "I saw you. I saw both of you walking through the rooms. You were talking about where the couch should go, and you," he pointed one small finger at Erin, "you said the upstairs bedroom was perfect because of the window." Erin's breath hitched. She had said that, exactly that. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Kid, who are you? Did your parents know the people who lived there before?" He shook his head. "No, I was just there, before you." Erin turned back around slowly, facing forward again. I caught the side of her face in the dashboard glow. Her lips were pressed tight, her jaw clenched. For a long stretch, None of us spoke. The SUV hummed along the road, the headlights cutting tunnels through the trees. My chest felt heavy, like something was pressing on it. Finally, Erin whispered, "Mark, pull over." I did, easing the car onto a gravel turnout. The boy didn't react, just sat there, patient. Erin twisted in her seat again, staring at him. "Listen to me," she said firmly. "How do you know all of that?" "Who told you?" The boy blinked slowly, then he smiled again. "Nobody told me. I just knew. I was there before." "Before what?" I asked, the words sharper than I meant. The boy leaned forward slightly, just enough for his face to be clearer in the glow of the dashboard. "Before you got there. I lived there first." Something about the way he said it, calm, certain, made the hairs on the back of my neck rise. "You lived there?" Erin asked, her voice trembling now. "When?" The boy tilted his head again, considering. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Not when. Always." The silence that followed was suffocating. Erin's hand found mine on the console, squeezing hard. I couldn't look back at him. I just started driving again, faster this time. The boy didn't say another word. He sat quietly in the back, his gaze fixed out the side window. When we finally reached town, I pulled into a gas station under the harsh fluorescent lights. Erin turned fully to the back seat, but it was empty. No door had opened, no sound, no movement, just gone. We sat there stunned, the engine idling. I checked the locks, the doors, even the pavement around the car. Nothing. That night, when we arrived at the house, Erin refused to go inside at first. She stood in the driveway, staring at the dark windows. I walked in ahead of her, turning on every light, checking every room. It was empty, just our boxes stacked along the walls. But I swear, the air felt heavy, too still, too heavy. When Erin finally stepped inside, she whispered, "What if he's right? What if he really was here first?" I didn't answer, because deep down, I was wondering the same thing. So this is one of those stories that even years later, I still can't shake. I can tell it to you 100 times, but every single time I do, I get the exact same chill down my spine as I did that night. This wasn't one of those playful little ghost hunts where you laugh, spook yourself out, and go home. This was the night we all swore we'd never do an investigation again. It was me, Adam, and Nicole. We weren't professionals, not by any means. We were just three friends with a couple of cameras, a voice recorder, and way too much curiosity for our own good. Paranormal investigating was more like a thrill hobby. Some people skydive. We snuck into old hospitals, deserted schools, forgotten cemeteries. Stuff that made our hearts race. This one was different though, because we weren't going into a building. We were driving. The legend was about this old 2-lane steel bridge on the outskirts of town. People called it the Crying Bridge. According to the locals, if you stopped in the middle of the bridge at night, rolled your windows down and killed the engine, you'd hear children crying, sometimes tapping on your roof, like little hands. And the boldest claim was this: if you were dumb enough to look in your rearview mirror, you'd see them sitting in your back seat. We laughed when we first heard it. It sounded like the kind of story parents used to scare their kids from going out at night. But when we mentioned it to a couple of older folks at a diner earlier that evening, They didn't laugh. One woman, maybe in her 60s, went pale when we brought it up. She leaned in and said, "If you go there, don't stop. Drive straight through. Don't tempt it." That should have been enough to make us turn the car around and find another place. But of course, that just made us want to see it more. We set out close to midnight. Adam drove his old sedan. Nicole sat shotgun with the camera, and I was in the back, setting up the recorder. I remember the way the road narrowed as we left the main highway, how the streetlights just stopped. All we had was the car's headlights cutting through this endless stretch of black. Trees arched over us like they were leaning in to listen. When the bridge finally came into view, it didn't look like much. Just an old steel truss bridge, rusted and tired, stretched over a slow-moving river. But there was something about it. Maybe the way the air felt heavier as we rolled closer. Maybe the way the water beneath seemed unnaturally still, like glass. Adam cracked a joke about ghost kids charging us toll money, but his voice was a little too tight. None of us were really laughing anymore. We drove onto the bridge, the tires making that hollow metallic echo against the steel. Nicole was filming, whispering her little intro to the camera, but I couldn't focus on her voice. I was listening, and that's when I noticed it. The sound of the river faded. It was subtle, but clear. Like once we were fully on the bridge, the world around us dimmed. Adam stopped the car in the center, right where the legend said to. The headlights threw pale beams against the steel beams ahead, but the darkness beyond was suffocating. He killed the engine. And instantly, the silence was so deep it felt wrong. At first, nothing happened. The three of us just sat there, holding our breath, trying not to laugh from nerves. Nicole whispered, "Do you hear anything?" And before Adam or I could answer, we did. It was faint. At first, it sounded like the wind carrying some faraway noise. But the longer we sat, the clearer it became. It wasn't the wind. It was crying. Children. Soft, whimpering cries drifting through the night, curling around the car. It didn't sound like it was coming from one place either. It was all around us. I froze. I didn't even want to breathe because the sound felt so close. Adam whispered, "That's got to be a prank. Someone out here messing with us." But his voice shook. He didn't believe what he was saying. Nicole had her camera out the window, pointing it into the dark. She whispered, "Oh my God. Oh my God." That's when the first tap hit the roof. It was light, almost playful, like a kid drumming their fingers. Then another, then another. Within seconds, it was like half a dozen tiny hands were pattering across the roof, skittering like rain. Nicole gasped and pulled her camera inside, hugging it to her chest. Adam started the car, but before he could put it in drive, the bridge itself shook. I swear on my life. The steel beams vibrated. The car trembled. It was like something massive was stomping across the bridge, but there was nothing there. The sound of crying swelled, louder and sharper, until it didn't sound like sadness anymore. It sounded angry. I shouted, "Go, just go." But Adam didn't move. His hands were white-knuckled on the wheel, staring dead ahead. Then, from the back seat, we all heard it. A voice. High-pitched, small, right behind our ears. "Don't look back." I swear I felt cold breath against my neck when it said it. Nicole screamed and covered her face. Adam slammed the car into drive and floored it, tires squealing on the metal. The crying stopped instantly, like someone cut a wire, but none of us dared to look anywhere except straight ahead. We tore off the bridge, gravel spitting under the wheels as we hit the road again. No one spoke until the bridge was a distant shadow behind us. Even then, the silence inside the car was thick, electric. Finally, Adam pulled over, breathing hard, and turned to us. "Tell me you heard that too." We all nodded, unable to put it into words. My hands were shaking so bad, I could barely hold the recorder. Nicole was crying quietly, camera still clutched to her chest. We swore to each other we weren't looking at the footage until morning. None of us could handle it right then. The next day, we met at my place. None of us had slept much. Nicole plugged her camera into the TV, and we sat there, barely breathing, as the footage rolled. The video caught almost everything. The silence, the faint crying, even the roof tapping. But when it came to the part where we floored it across the bridge, something else showed. In the rearview mirror. At first, it just looked like shadows, but as the car jolted forward, the shape sharpened. 3 small figures, children, sitting perfectly still in the back seat with me. Their faces were pale, sunken, eyes black pits, and all 3 of them were smiling. Nicole screamed and turned off the video. Adam swore and jumped to his feet. I just sat there numb, because I remembered how cold that breath felt against my neck. We never went back to that bridge. To this day, when I drive at night, I can't bring myself to look in the rearview mirror for too long, because I know what I'll see if I do.